Traditionally it's, well, I got to get off my legacy systems. I got to modernize my old systems. And it became this IT thing, right? Replace, rinse and repeat, replace, replace, replace. Now we're shifting to what's the customer experience? Do we know if the impact of that service is changing their life? That's the importance of data analytics. It's not some cool technology that we want to play around with. This goes to how well our services are impacting the people we serve. When you look at the disciplines you need around each of those components and principles of modernization, we need architects, we need human-centered design folks, we need infrastructure folks, we need data folks, we need business folks, we need industry. That's the multidisciplinary team coming together to solve problems, to serve our residents in a better way. How beautiful is that?
Let's get started and just set the stage with what is human-centered design from your perspective?
Human-centered design is a process that truly takes into account the needs, the wants, the constraints of the people we're designing for every step of the way, not just at the beginning, not just at the end.
I like the way Suzanne talked about you can apply human-centered design to a lot of different things. And although at Root we're looking to transform the customer experience across health and human services, a lot of that initial touch point for customers is actually on a physical product. And so we're doing a project that's really just wrapping up now, where we look at sort of the primary touch points around eligibility applications for human services benefits, renewals, the letters that customers receive from our organizations. And we've done, hundreds of hours of interviews with clients and with customers to understand the pain points, and then to look at just what is the language we use and how can we drive customers to the action that they need to take.
The biggest challenge that we've seen, and I've been alongside Suzanne practicing human-centered design for over 20 years, right there about. The biggest challenge we have is us, in all honesty, right? This is a mind shift for us as government. It is a different way to think about building something.
I will say that it does take a shift. It's a new skill, it's a new way of thinking, as we've heard. But there are some easy ways to get started. Just simply going and talking to some customers. Go hang out with your customers where they're consuming your services. Ask them what's working for them, what's not working for them, what's their biggest pain.
The concept here is we want to transform public service, how we're serving our residents through a connected government, which means we're connected as agencies and we present one face to our customer. It's a hard thing to disagree with that. It's another thing to actually execute on that. And that's what we're talking about today, is we're executing on this in many ways.
So what we're doing really great at is building great digital experiences within our organizations, our agencies, but where we need to focus now is connecting with each other. It's connecting government, right? And that's what we hear again and again from our residents, that they want that too. Don't make me know which agency provides this service.
What we want to do is we want to move towards something where the residents can interact with the state efficiently and can understand that their data is protected, their privacy is respected, and that we know more about the transactions that are happening, and we lower our risk by ensuring that we can authenticate transactions and verify users, and we can increase equity by decreasing the benefits to get the burdens to get those benefits.
I'd like to use the analogy of our connected road network in the United States, because I don't like to drive, but I feel like our interstate highway network system is just a marvel. It is really just a marvel. And can you imagine connected government without having those interconnections? Can you imagine if you have to go from, say, California to Washington, not having I-5, and let's say you start in California. When you get to the border of Oregon, you have to reproof your identity. It's like kind of going through the border, and you have to bring all the documents with you, and then when you get from the Oregon border to Washington, you have to reproof your identity again with different sets of documents, because that's just how it is. And like that's what the IAM is really going to like make things a lot smoother.
Connected government is highlighting and forcing us that if we really, really, really want to deliver these services to our citizens in connected government fashion, we can no longer ignore these needs to modernize these enterprise services. We just can't do it without them. Customers these days, our citizens, our customer agencies, they're used to the Amazon marketplace. They're used to going somewhere and having 2 clicks and getting what they need, right? And yet in government, people still need to know how we're organized in order to go get the stuff they need, right? They still have their address in 16 different places across a bunch of agencies. And so they're not all the same, right?
But how do we help customers of understanding that just because going to the cloud does not mean it's cheaper, right? Most people don't put that together. There's still things on-prem that are required. So when I say modernize IT services, it's the enterprise services, right? How can we enable you to make those business decisions?
Modernization, yeah, there's some upfront work because we're digging out from under and behind that legacy framework and those legacy systems and those legacy supporting services that we have. But then when we do the work and we do it together, we benefit, because then the next time we do it, and the next time we do it, and the next time we do it, we're getting to benefit from the work that each of us did to get out from behind that legacy.
So what we're going to do is explore as a group some of these strategies to bridge the digital divide and promote digital inclusion for all. If we really put our minds to this is not a difficult thing to achieve. If we get out of our own way, stop looking through it through our own lens, and understand the lens of someone else, it's really not difficult to achieve.
As we are thinking about bringing on new technology like AI is a great example right now, a big barrier we're going to run into is the data that we're training our tool sets on is often trained on historical, binary, and racist data, and we have to be very careful that we're not unintentionally introducing additional barriers and additional issues with equity as we bring these tools on. So I just want to pull that out as like a future barrier that we have to future-proof right now.
Is the 12-year-old who's teaching grandma or grandpa how to interact with the system, and as a state, we can do better than that.
If you don't know where the grassroots organizations are, go to the community anchor institutions, schools, hospitals, libraries, and ask their outreach people, how do I find the people who are unfindable, the people who have been intentionally disconnected from these services in the past and do not have that trust? Even though we are the government, we may not be engaged with them for that reason, but we do know how to connect you to them.